Shalom WJC family. It's time for our weekly Torah talk. This week in Shul we will be reading Parshat Vayechi. And it's not unusual that the secular New Year's comes right around the time of Parshat Vayechi. I've always considered that to be sort of appropriate because the Parsha contains Jacob's sort of deathbed blessings for his 12 children, his 12 sons. And something about reflecting on the new year, either the year that's passed or the new year that's coming, 2026, has to do with blessings or sometimes curses. And we can look at Jacob's blessings of his children and think of them as curses in many cases. In particular, I wanted to look at Shimon and Levi. These are two sons who really seem to be out of control during their stories. The rabbis see them, the Midrash sees them as very involved in Joseph's kidnapping and sale. As well, of course, the Torah is clear about their lead role in the sacking of Shechem and the slaughtering of all the people there in response to the taking of their sister Dinah by Shechem. So when it comes to get their blessing that Jacob's supposedly giving them, Jacob says, Shimon v'Levi achim klei chamas mecherotechem. Shimon and Levi are brothers, which of course they're brothers. The rabbis interpret this to mean like they were like of one mind. Klei chamas, their weapons, their tools of violence, mecherotechem. A lot of interpretations of that, of lawlessness, of selling. One rabbi says this has to do with their selling of Joseph. Then he goes on, let not my person be included in their council. Let not my being be counted in their assembly. For when angry, they slay a man, and when pleased, they maim an ox. Not what we would usually think of as a blessing, right? This is clearly a curse or a premonition. Some dissatisfaction is being expressed. But the question is, I'll tell you a story. I was talking to some parents recently, and I mentioned my own experience. One of my children, I won't mention who, had a bit of a stubborn streak in him when he was quite young. And Tammy and I used to turn to each other and say, man, this is going to serve him so well when he's an adult, but boy, is it rough on us now. And that is maybe what Jacob is experiencing. On the one hand, he's concerned about the way that Shimon and Levi are expressing their passion, let's say, or their enthusiasm for their family and their faith, and rightfully so. But as they mature, maybe there's something else in mind. Of course, many of us know that the tribe of Levi doesn't inherit land in the long run. They inherit the religious leadership of the Jewish people, including the Kohanim, the priesthood, which is one clan within all of the clans of the Levites. And of course, Moses and Aaron and Miriam are going to come from the tribe of Levi as well. So if this is a curse, doesn't seem to come true. So this is highlighted by the comment of Nachmanides, the Ramban, who says that what does it mean, mecherotechem, that their weapons are tools of mecherotechem? He says their homes, that it actually means that their homes are places of violence. And of course, in the future, we see that it is within the tribes of Levi. The Levi'im are going to run the cities of refuge. Much later in the Torah, as Moses is giving the laws to the people, he's going to dictate that 7 cities of refuge need to be established for the manslaughterer. Right? If someone accidentally kills someone, the classic example is an axe goes flying off its handle, axe head goes flying off the axe handle when someone goes to swing it, then that person who would have like a blood vengeance on him from the relatives of the person who that axe had hit and killed, could run to this city of refuge. And who runs the city of refuges? The cities of refuge, but the Levi'im, the very ones who are told that their their homes are these places of violence, are ultimately given the responsibility for creating a refuge and peace for everyone who is struggling with violence. And I just think this is a very beautiful way to think about our year, to think about our own experiences as we are starting 2026, as we're reflecting on 2025. Memory's complicated, and how we tell the story really matters. And there's no doubt that there were some terribly painful things in 2025. There were some joyful ones, like many hostages coming home alive, but of course some painful ones, like the anti-Semitism that's emerged, and so many things in between. But how we tell that story matters. Will they be blessings or curses, right? Will who we are serve us to bring blessing into the world, or negativity and violence into the world? It seems to me that even as Jacob is blessing his children, Shimon and Levi, he is teaching us a lesson. We are not stuck on one path, and how we look at that path, how we tell the story really matters to how we experience the world. In 2026, my blessing for us all is that we're able to control our narrative better. And we turn away from the way the narrative is being told to us, either on the news or social media, and are able to embrace a different narrative, a personal narrative, a communal narrative, an in-person narrative, one that recognizes all the blessings around us and tells our story as a story of blessings and not a story of curses, not a story of violence, not a story of fear. It is up to us to control our narrative, to make 2026 a year of blessing. It's not a wish that it should be a year of blessing per se. It's a wish that we should make it a year of blessing by the way we act, by bringing Jewish Torah values into the world, and by recognizing that that's complicated and not always easy. And ultimately, we have the opportunity to turn it into blessings, just like Levi was able to turn his zealotry, his passion, or at least his offspring, into the highest level of relationship with God, into the highest level of Jewish leadership, and ultimately into the key to bringing Jewish values and Torah values into the world to help us make the world better. May we all have that experience in 2026. May it be a year of blessing. May we make it a year of blessing, and wish you all a happy new year.